In this video, we are going to see how to create this interactive dashboard right from the scratch in Power BI. So, if you are a complete beginner and if you want to start your journey in Power BI, stay tuned till the end of this session so that you can kickstart your journey as a Power BI developer and start doing data analytics with the help of Power BI. So, without further ado, let's get started. And for those who want to practice along, I am going to share the database in the description. You can download the database and you can practice along with me while watching this video. Let's get started. So first of all, before creating any kind of dashboard, we need to understand what are the KPIs for Netflix. Okay, KPIs are key performance indicators. Okay, that will actually form part of our dashboard. Okay, so first of all, let us see what are the very important KPIs that we have for Netflix. So first of all, runtime hours, very important. Since Netflix is a content creation platform, okay, we need to understand what is the runtime hours data or the runtime hours video content that Netflix has. Then out of that content, okay, how many movies are there, how many TV shows are there on Netflix, and then average IMDb, that is average rating that the TV shows and movies have as far as Netflix is concerned. Then top five genres. Okay, so top five genres will help us understand what are the various genres which are working and what are the genres that are not working in on Netflix, and what are the top five genres which are liked by the people. Then content by year. What is the number of content that has been created by Netflix over the period of time? Then subscribers by country. Again, very important KPI, where we are trying to understand where is my subscriber base coming from? Okay, which part of the country or which country I should say my subscriber is coming from. Then movies versus TV show. Okay, so what are the numbers as far as movies versus TV shows are concerned? Whether people are watching movies or they are more interested into TV shows. And then we are going to create some of the slices which can actually help us slice and dice the dashboard. Okay, this is what we are going to create in this video. These are the KPIs that we need to create our visuals and other things related to. So let us jump onto the data. So this is the first page that I have created. Okay, this is the page. This is the report view in which I am going to create my dashboard. Okay, but before starting and before going to the dashboard, let us understand what is the data that we have. Okay, so I am under table view. I have the different fields that are there in the data. So it has ID, title, okay, title of the movie or the show, type, okay. So it has type, whether it is a movie or a show. Then it has a release year, okay. So it has a year on which this movie or the show was released. Then age certification, as you know that UA certificate and other certifications that are there, that data is there. Then runtime. But runtime, if you see, the runtime that is available, actually it is in minutes. Okay, so it is actually in the data is in minutes. Okay, so before doing any kind of analysis, we need to make sure that this runtime can be converted into hours. Okay, then we have various genre like comedy, action, different kind of genre related stuff is what we have. Then we have production country. This will help us understand, okay, which country is contributing more in terms of viewership. Then seasons, IMDb ID, IMDb score. This is very important because this will tell me, okay, what is the IMDb score of particular series or particular show. Okay, then I have IMDb votes and then popularity and TMDB score also. Okay, so right now, if I have my list, the first thing that I need to calculate is runtime hours. Okay, as I told you that the runtime that is given in the data is in minutes. Okay. So what do we need to do? We need to convert those minutes into hours. Okay. But before that, we have one more database that is called credits. Okay. So credits has person ID, IDs, name, the person who has created it, okay, okay, and the role of that person. Okay. So we have two tables, right? So whether it is a actor or a director, right, who has created this content. Now I have two tables. First of all, the first and the foremost thing that I need to do is that I need to create a relationship between these two tables so that I can take the data from credits as well, and I can take the data from titles table as well. So I will jump onto this my model view. Okay. So as you can see, these are the two tables that we have. Okay. And each table has one common field that is called ID. So based on ID, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to create a relationship. So I'll just drag ID from credits to title. So this way I am creating a relationship between the IDs. So a new relationship is getting created where credits, my credits table has ID, and the same kind of ID is there in my titles table. Okay. And the cardinality is many to one. Okay. So let me just save it. So in this way, I have created a relationship between two tables so that I can use the data from both the tables. So my relationship is actually created now. As you can see that there is a line that I can see. Okay. And this star means many and this one means one. Okay. So there is a many to one relationship. Why? Because there are many IDs in credits and there is a duplication of IDs in credit, but in titles there is no duplication of ID. That's why it is many to one relationship. Now let us go and create our first measure, that is runtime hours. Okay. So for runtime hours, as I told you that the number that is available is in minutes, I need to convert it into hours. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a new measure. So I'm going to click on this new measure. So a measure is getting created. Let me just rename it to run time in hours. Okay. Let me just put hours in bracket. So I'm going to write my first DAX function, that is bracket. Now, what do I need to sum? I need to sum the runtime hours. So I'll just put runtime. But this runtime is actually in minutes. So let me just close the bracket and divide it by 60. Okay. And then bracket close. So what I'm trying to do is that I am trying to actually convert this runtime total into hours. Okay. So if I divide it by 60, then it will be converted into hours. Let us see. So it is done. Now, if I want to check whether the number is correct or not, let me just create a card visual and I'll put runtime hours into this card visual. So the runtime hours it shows is 7.51K. That is 7,500 hours. Okay. So if I want to convert it into normal units, I'll just go into units and I'll click on none. So it will show me 7,500 7,500 hours of content that the entire database has, okay, in terms of hours. Okay, right? This way we can use DAX formulas to calculate our numbers like that, right? So first runtime hours we have created. Now the second KPI that I need to create is number of movies and TV shows. Okay. Now just try to understand that I need the of number of TV shows and the number of movies that this data has, right? So then first of all, the first point is I need to actually know what is the total number content that I have. Okay. Then only I'll be able to actually create the two other measures which will tell me how many movies are there and how many TV shows are there. Okay. So first of all, let me just create a new measure. The name of the measure that I'm going to keep is total content. Okay. So total content will tell me what is the number of total content that we have. So total content is equals to. So this time I am going to use a function called count A. So count A will help me count the number of titles that we have. So number of titles that we have, I am going to count them. Okay. Right. So let me just do, let me just save the DAX formula. So count A I have used and I have count the title. Okay. Let me just see whether my number is getting reflected or not. So total content. So 5,800 total content is what I have. Okay. Now it becomes easier for me to know how many movies are there and how many shows are there. Okay. How to do that? Let me just quickly create one more measure. So this time I am going to use a new formula or DAX function, which is calculate. Okay. So right now I want to know how many movies are there. So let me just write movies. And this time I am going to use a formula called calculate. So calculate will tell me the total content where the type is movies. Okay. Let me just go and first of all, I will need to put some expression. Okay. So under expression, I am going to put total content because total content is something that I have already created as a form of measure, which is this 5,806. Okay. Now, after this, I'll just press comma, next line. And here I am going to put some filter. Okay. So as you remember that in my data, there's a column called type. Type shows whether it is a movie or a show. Okay. So I am going to put type. So I have titles type is equals to movies. So I am just trying to filter out the data based on certain criteria that is called movies. Okay. So let me just save this DAX. Now let me go back to my table view and see whether the type name is actually movies or something else. Okay. So let me go back to my table view. So under table view, I'll go into titles. Under title C, it is movie and show. So there is no S that is there. Okay. So I need to keep that in mind while writing my DAX. So I'll just go into my DAX and instead of movies, I'll just press movies. Okay. So this will give me the count of number of movies that I have in my data. So let me just quickly create one more and let me create one more card and put movies under fields. So 3759 is the number of movies that we have. Okay. Same way I can create for shows. Let me just create a new measure again. This time I am going to create show. Okay. Let me just change it to show. So again, the same formula, calculate. Okay. So under calculate, I am going to again use total content. And in the next slide, I am going to filter this again type. where my type is equals to true and bracket close. And I'm going to save this. So this time I have created one more measure, okay, where it can show how many shows that we have, right? So let us quickly create one more card, and it is going to give me the number of shows that we have. So as you can see, the total content was 5,800. Out of 5,800, 3,700 is movies and 2,000 is your shows. Okay. Let me just squeeze the size so that it can, there can be a space management here. Okay. So this way I have created my runtime hours, total content, movies and shows. Okay. Now, if I go back to my KPI, I need to create average IMDb. Okay. So IMDb rating that we have, okay, I am going to create an average of that rating so that I can understand what is the average rating that the content has. Okay. So average IMDb, how I am going to calculate? Again, I am going to use a measure. Okay. So let me just go into new measure. This time I am going to create average IMDb. So average IMDb. Okay. So for average, I can use a tax function called average A. Okay. Average A bracket. Now this time, what do I need to do average of IMDb score? Okay. And bracket close. And let me just save this. Now let me just create one more card visual and let me just show you how the average IMDb is. So 5.94 is my average IMDb, right? So in this way, I have created all the required measures that were required for this dashboard. Okay. And one thing I want to tell you here is that, see, if you can see, these measures are actually created in this credits table. Okay. Right. Now, there is a trick through which you can actually accumulate all the measures at one place. How to do that? Let me just go into my model view and let me just press Control and select all the various different measures. Okay. So all these measures I need to move to a new place. Okay. I need to move to a new place. Okay. So there are two tables right now, credits and title. I don't want these measures to go on any of the tables. I want to create a separate table so that I can have all my measures at one place so that I can use it whenever I want to. So how to do that? Let us go into table view. Here, what you need to do is that you need to go under table tools and you need to create a new table. So just create a new table and we are just going to name it as all measures. Okay. So this is a kind of dummy table that we are creating so that we can put all our measures at one place. Here, just write all measures bracket and click on this checkbox. So this table, dummy table will get created. Now, as you can see that this all measure table is created. This is a dummy created. Now, I'll go into my table view. I'll select all my measures one by one by clicking on control. So all measures I have selected here. The home table, I will convert or I will select the table as new all measures. Sorry. So once I click on all measures, as you can see, there is one more table that gets created and all the measures that I've created are stored here. Why I wanted to do that is because I can use it as and when I require. Okay. So as you can see here also in my report view, I have all the measures at one place and it is not part of any database or the tables that we have uploaded. Okay. So now, since I have created runtime hours, movies, TV shows, average IMDb, now I am going to create top 5 genres based on the total content that I have. Okay. So as I already have calculated total content, this I can use it for other visuals as well. Okay. So now what I need to do, I need to actually see, okay, what are the top genres based on the content that I have. So I'll just click on genres and I'll put genres in the report view. So a table will get created having all the genres. Okay. Now let me just put my total content. Let me just put my total content measure here. Okay. So now as you can see that genre and total content has been created. Right. Now one more thing I need to add here is type. Okay. So I want to know how many movies and how many shows are there as far as content is concerned. Okay. Now let me just convert this into a maybe stacked bar chart. Okay. Let me just convert it into a stacked bar chart. Okay. So this is the kind of stacked bar chart I can see. Okay. Which will show me the number of content and the genres on the basis of which this content has been formed. Right. So what I need to do now is I need to actually get top 5 genres out of this entire visual that I've created. Okay. So what I'll do is that I'll go under this filters option and here under genres. Okay. So as you can see, there is an option of top N. Okay. So top N will give me top 5, top 10, whatever I want based on certain criteria. So I'm just going to put top 5 and top 5 based on what? Top 5 based on the total content. So I'm just going to drag total content here and I'll press apply. So as you can see, top 5 genres. Okay, top 5 genres is what I have been able to see in this visual. Okay, and I'll just turn the data labels on so that I can see the labels. Okay, this is how you can actually show your top 5 genres. Okay, so let me just quickly remove this. So if I go into y-axis, I don't want the values, okay, because values are already there. In x-axis also, I don't have the value. I don't want the, sorry, I don't want the title here because I know these are genres. And under title, I'm just going to write it top 5 genres. I can make it bold, center, and even increase the size. Or maybe let us keep it in the left hand side. Now I want to create content by year. Okay. So what I want to understand is year by year, what is the number of contents that have been created so that to see, okay, which year has created what kind of content. And even I can see the trend of content creation also. Okay. So for that, we can use line chart. Okay. But first, for any kind of trend analysis, we need to understand whether there is a year table or year field that we have in our table. So yes, we have release year, which we can use. So I'm just going to put release year here. And this is the year that has come. And I'm going to put total content, which I have already created. I'm just going to put the count of content. Okay. So as you can see, 5,806 is the total content that we have created. And in which year what content was created is also being tagged. Okay. Now let me just convert this into a line chart. So as you can see, this is the kind of line chart that is getting appeared. But I don't want to go till 1950. Okay. I want to actually see the trend, which is after 2000. Okay. Because I don't want to go back to 1950s. I want to see past 20, 24 years of trend. Okay. So for that, what I can do is that I can filter this release year, okay, based on certain criteria. So if the release year, I'm going into advanced filtering. If the release year is greater than 2000, I am going to get the data. So as you can see, the greater than 2000, I am getting this trend of the content that we have created after 2000. Okay, this is the kind of trend that we can see. Okay, now one more thing I can do here is I can add legend also. Okay, so if I want to see what is the bifurcation of movies and shows as far as the creation is concerned, I can actually do that as well. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to put type into my legend. So as you can see, there are two lines that you can see. Okay. So these two lines indicates that the light blue line is the movies and the shows. So I can see the trend of movies and shows both at the same time. Let me just format paint this and this so that we can get the proper format, right? So this is how I can actually see my content by year. Okay, so let me just change it to content by year. Now, after content by year, we need to actually create subscribers by country. Okay, so for that, we can use a visual that is called map visual. So let me just go here and click on this map visual. Here, I need to put whatever is the country related data that I have under location. So as you can see, this is the kind of distribution that we have as far as the countries are concerned in which the viewership is coming from. But as you can see, every country is actually getting showed as a equal contributor. Okay, so in order to solve that, I can actually have a bubble size. Okay, so I can actually change this bubble size based on the viewership. Okay, so we have runtime hours, right, which we created. So based on runtime hours, I am going to just denote the size of these bubbles. As you can see here, if I elaborate it a bit, so as far as viewership is concerned, the major viewership is coming from US and then India and in other countries. Okay, that's how you can actually show the distribution as far as viewership is concerned all across the world. Okay, let me just change this map into dark map, something like this. Okay, and let me just remove the title. So in this way, I can see the distribution of, or let us keep the title as countries. Okay. So in this way, I can see the countries and the kind of runtime hours that it is contributing to. Right. Now, what I need to create is I need to actually see the composition of movies and TV shows. Okay. Where I can see, okay, how many TV shows are getting created and how many movies are getting created. Okay. I want to see the composition. Okay. Based on the content. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to again put type because type is going to tell me whether it is a movie or a show. Okay, and I'm going to put one more thing that is total content. So I just want to understand as far as the content is concerned, what is the ratio of movies and what is the ratio of this, what is the ratio of movie or what is the ratio of show. Okay, so let me just convert it into a donut chart. Okay, as you can see, donut chart, it is actually showing me the composition. Okay, so here I'll just go into my formatting. I'll just go into my detail labels. Under detail labels, I just want to see the percentage of total. Okay, and the values that I want to see. I want to see all the values in without any decimal. Okay. So this way I can see the composition. Okay. Even I can go and put it inside so that it can look better. Now, as you can see that in my KPIs, all the KPIs are created. Now, what I need to do is that I need to actually put my slices and I need to just somewhere make my dashboard look more appealing. Okay. So till now, what we have done is we have just created our visuals. Now it is time to actually do or actually do some kind of changes in this dashboard so that it should look good. Okay. First of all, as you can see here, I have my Netflix logo. I'm just going to copy this and I'm going to paste it here. So this is a Netflix logo, which I'm going to put it at the top of my dashboard. Okay. So these things are aesthetic changes that I'm going to do in my dashboard so that it should look more appealing. So the slices that we are going to create are genre, title, and years. Okay. So let me just go into a basic slicer. And here in slicer, under slicer, I'll just put years. Okay. So that I can get a year related year related slicer. Okay. So under slicer settings, I'll just put it as a drop down so that anybody can go and select any year from it. So this is release year, or I can change it to year also, right? So in this way, I have created my first slicer. Now let me create my second slicer that is related to title. So I'm just going to put title under this slicer. Okay, and let me just change it to drop down. So drop down title also I have created. Now I am going to create one more slicer that is related to genre. Okay, so let me just create one more slicer here and I'll put genre under this slicer, right? And let me just convert it into a drop down. So in this way, these three slicer also we have created. Now I want to actually put some data, some details related to Netflix. Okay, what is Netflix, what it does. Okay, so I can create one small text table here and I want to write some basic details about what actually Netflix does. Okay, I'm just going to put a table here. I'll just increase the size. Here I'm going to write some text related to Netflix. Okay, so let me just go into a Gmail. Let me write Netflix and let me get some data related to what it does. Okay, so there is some summary that was there. Let me just put that. Netflix is a popular American media services, and this it has today actually available in over 190 countries and offer a wide range of TV shows, movies, and original content, including award-winning series and films. So let me just copy this and paste it here. Okay. So here, since the content is getting overflowed, I'll just reduce the size. So this way, I have actually added some text. If you want, you can just reduce the text so that it can be visible. But for me, this is fine. Okay. So this is giving me some idea about what Netflix does. Okay. So in this way, we have actually created our dashboard and it is interactive also because if I select any year, I can actually slice and dice my data based on any kind of selection. So if I want to select some title, Based on title also I can filter it. Based on various genres also I can filter this data. Now for Netflix, okay, the actual theme is black and red. As you can see, the logo is black, the background is black, and the logo is red. Okay, so let me just change this theme, okay, into the core Netflix theme. Okay, so let me just not select any visual and let me go into canvas setting or canvas background. So under canvas background, I can choose a background which is black, and I'm going to reduce the transparency. Okay. So this way I have actually, let me just move it. So in this way I have actually created a background which is black. Okay. Now, as you can see that whatever the visuals that I have, okay, it has some background. Okay. So let me just quickly change the background. Okay. So that it should look more appealing. Okay. Right now, it is all messed up as far as color formatting is concerned. Okay. So let me just quickly do some formatting here so that it should look appealing. So that is what I have done. Now let me just remove the backgrounds one by one quickly. Right? Can you see this? Let me just go into column value and make it white. Right? And let me just, or let us make it red because I want to actually, yeah, this is the color. So this is the color that I want to have. So I am just going to copy this color theme. Okay. And I will try to paste this wherever I want to have the same kind of color theme. Okay. So this color theme, let me just save it somewhere so that I can reuse it wherever I want to. Okay. So this is the color theme that I want to do as far as text is concerned. Okay. So this color theme I'm going to use wherever I'm required. Let me just quickly go into the labels, and labels also I'm going to keep the same thing, right? So in this way you can change your theme based on Netflix theme. Now what I can do is that I can just format hint and do the formatting for all of them so that it can show 5.9 is fine, right? Same way here in the background, I'm just going to change it. So the effects, I'm going to make it 100% so that it can go. Now again, here also I am going to have a combination of maybe red and white so that it should look better. Okay. First of all, as I told you that wherever there is a, you know, values, wherever there are blacks, okay, I need to change color code, change into this one. Okay. So that it can be of similar theme. Legend also, let me just select this. Title also I can put, I can change the title, text color to be red. Okay. And now, as I told you that there is an option of changing the bar colors. So we are going to use that this time. So for movies, okay, for movies, I'm going to use red. And for shows, I'm going to use maybe white. Or maybe let us just show some, something like this. Gray. Yeah, gray looks good. Right. In this way, I'm just going to copy this and paste it to another visuals. Okay. As you can see now, it looks better in terms of the look and feel, because now what I'm trying to do is that I'm trying to follow the various different color codings that are there. Okay. So here also in this case, I'm going to just go into effects. Let us just reduce it. And here the text color that I want to have is, so this is background. So the text color, I can change it from here. I can make it red. Okay. So what I am trying to do is that I am trying to actually change this various different background styles so that it can make sense, or it can actually look better. Okay. So let me just quickly do it 100% this also. And here I'm going to go into my slicer settings, slicer header again, red. Okay. And the selection also I'm going to do red. Okay. So that it can be replicated all across. So let me just format paint it, format paint it. So in this way, you can actually change the theme of the entire dashboard based on the theme and the logo of the particular enterprise. Okay, right? Now, one more thing I want to add is I want to add some objects into it. Okay, let me just go into insert shape. I'm going to create a line. Okay, so under line, I'm going to rotate it to 90 degrees so that I can have a single line. And I am going to put this line as a partition so that there should be some what we can say, there should be some kind of demarcation between various visuals. Okay, so let me just go into line. Okay, line again, I can make arrow or anywhere. I can make over also, but this time I'm going to keep it normal line. Okay, round, rotation is done. Style, color, I'm going to put gray. Okay, let me just change the color. Okay. There is no shadow, nothing is there. Pattern, pay, rotation, style, border. Okay, so border, this we need to change it to gray so that it can, yeah, now it is converted into gray. Let me just reduce the size. Let me just reduce the size of this line and put it here so that it can be a good partition. Now, let me just copy this and paste it here as well. But here I am going to paste it in smaller pots like this. So this is just an aesthetic way of showing the various visuals, and there is some partition that we can do as far as visuals are concerned, and it should look better. Now, as you can see, my dashboard is ready. Okay, if the text is not that visible, I can just remove some lines so that it can be visible. And here I'll just make it 9, or maybe 10 also will work. Okay. So in this way, you can actually show your dashboard. If you want, you can just increase the size of the logo. And now this looks way more appealing. And the best part is, even you can slice and dice this entire dashboard, right? I hope you like this video. And if you want me to create more such case studies or more such projects, please like and share this video. And also don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more such informative content. And you can use the comment box to write down what kind of case study, what kind of Power BI functions that you want to learn. I will create a video onto it. Thank you very much.